The main man, Darren the Gorilla Till. First and foremost, from one Scouser to another, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are yourself? Where are you from, first of all?
I am from, I don't know if you saw it on my message, I'm actually from Delamore Street.
Good lad. The Delhi mobs. Good lad.
Yeah. But I'm from Delamore Street and I live in Orwell Park. Whereabouts do you live, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not prepared to say.
Fair enough, mate. I don't blame you.
I'll have all cranks turning up.
Right, well, we'll get going. So, let's get straight into it. 10th of April, UFC ABC 2, you'll fight Marvin Vettori. First and foremost, what did you think of Vettori's last performance?
Analysing it, I thought it was like a dog match, two dogs going at it. Jack showed real heart, grit to him. I thought Jack would have won the fight because I didn't know much. I knew about Marvin, but I didn't, you always need that one fight to see whether they're like a top 10, top 5 fighter. And obviously we didn't know that with Marvin, and now he's proved it. I thought it was a great fight. Tough. Not a lot of technical aspects involved, but sometimes they don't need to be. Sometimes a fight like that can't get if there were fans in attendance, can't get the fans at all, energized and stuff like that. So, it was a good fight. It was a really good fight. Tough fight as well.
In your opinion, was that Marvin's best performance of his career?
If he sees it that way, then I don't know, because as I said, it's hard to take a lot from the fight because there was a lot of strikes absorbed and a lot of shots taken and a lot of shots fired. Not a lot of intelligent striking. No, I'm not trying to diss it, but it was sort of just swing, hope and pray and miss and hit and stuff like that. So I think he went in there prepared for 5 rounds. He looked fit. He looked strong. He looks very determined. If you've seen his post-fight press interview with ESPN, he was very fired up. He wants the recognition and to be considered one of the top 5, and he wants a chance at the big guys and stuff like that. So, all impressive stuff from what I've seen on my behalf.
And obviously you're matched up against Marvin now, but you were originally meant to fight Jack on that date. Out of Jack and Marvin, who do you think was a harder matchup for yourself, personally?
I think maybe Jack could have been a tougher matchup with the maybe grappling and striking grappling and ground experience. Marvin sort of, he's a well-rounded fighter. I'd say he's a bit better in the striking aspect, but I'd say I'm definitely a better striker. He's just, big, brute and tough. He's very strong. He seems to be very strong and impose a will inside the octagon.
Is that what you believe his rough game plan will be? Try and pressure you back a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like he's going to try and make it like a dogfight, and he's tougher than me. And he said, she said, and it doesn't work like that fighting. It's always 9 times out of 10, it's the cleverer fighter that wins. And, it's not about strength, brawn or anything like that. It's about brains. And, I definitely bring brains every time I fight. And my whole fight camp, my team, we work on fight IQ. We don't work on deadlifts or stuff like that. Obviously, it all plays an important role and an important part, but it's ultimately fight IQ, which is look at most of the champions. They're all fight IQ through the roof. So that's what wins fights, in my opinion. Yeah,
Kaobon is one of them gyms. Even you've all got different styles. Obviously, Mike Grundy's more of a wrestler. Aspinall's striking, come jiu-jitsu, but you're all. One thing that does shine through is your intelligence and your precision, if you like.
Yeah. When we're training, obviously we do really train hard there. Every day seems like you're going in for 10 hours when really you're going in for 2 hours, 3 hours and stuff like that. That's how long it seems. And obviously every day we all go in with the same, mentality. Oh, it's going to be another tough one. But I think most of the time as well, it's just tough on your brain. Your fight, we're learning with pressure, footwork, move, momentum, cage work, all that stuff, but all intelligent work. Where we work hard the same with it, but you get that up. We work hard, but with intelligence at the same time. We don't just come in and fucking, throw things around for 2 hours and 3 hours and this and that and just you know, bang, 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 all on your knees, on your shoulders, on stuff like that. We do obviously do that as well, but I think it's more based around fight IQ. And, you know, as you've seen when Tom fights and Grundy and all the other lads, they've all got a high fight IQ.
Do you believe in this matchup it'll be your precision and your accuracy in the striking that is key to this matchup?
Yeah, I think I'm going to land on him. I'm going to land on him early, but I think I can land on him for 5 rounds because I think he does stay in there. I think he's very tough with it. So I don't care whether I land on him for the first round, second round, he goes out of there, or for 5 rounds. I've physically and mentally trained the hardest I've ever trained for this fight. I've like pushed myself in me running. I've pushed myself on me pads, on me sparring. Usually when I've sparred in the past, I've like tried to like you know, get a round off. Not when I say a round off, most fighters understand it's like pace yourself. So you know you've got 8 rounds to do. Maybe in the 4th you'll take a round off against the cage or some shit like that. No, in like every round of sparring, I've tried to make myself gas out because ultimately, if I'm gassing out in the gym, and this is some advice for young up and coming fighters, and even, you know, fighters who are on this level with myself, gas yourself out in the gym so you don't gas out in the fight.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done. I've gassed myself out in running. I've gassed myself on the pads. I've gassed myself in sparring, rolling, wrestling, all so on and so forth. So I feel like I'm finding new things out about myself daily, which is really cool.
Yeah. And everyone, we always hear this and prepare them for the 5 rounds to 25 minutes. But as you've mentioned, Marvin looks like a tough customer. He looks like he's got a toughness to him. With that being said, do you expect this fight to go 5 rounds?
Yeah, I'm that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not you know, if I can put an example out there, when I fought like Jorge Masvidal, obviously I was the bigger, stronger guy, lots of punching power. I was a better striker, but I went in there with the sort of mentality as I was prepared for 5 rounds, but I just went in there. As soon as I clip him, he's out of there. And it didn't happen like that. And that's why I'm saying, for example, running, pads, sparring, all these type of things that we get on with in the gym, I've pushed myself that little step, that little bit further, even where in the past, if I was training for like my fight against Wonderboy or KJ, Kelvin Gastelum or Whittaker, I might have had a round off here and there, or, you know, I haven't done it for this fight. I've really, really pushed the pace, pushed my training, and my partners are feeling it. You know, I've been really, really given that extra little bit.
Superb. Now, something I wanted to have you on to talk about as well was obviously the champ of your division, Adesanya, went up and he fought Jan Blachowicz in a close fight, but a losing effort. And both himself and his coach have expressed they want you next, should you beat Vettori. Does that come with any added pressure going into this fight, knowing you might fight for the title next?
Yeah, it'd be silly of me to sit here and say that. No, you know, us as fighters, we don't feel no pressure. Every day is pressure. Every day when you bump into an old friend or someone and they say, "I'll put a bet on you, make sure you win," that amounts to pressure. It's like, fucking hell, make sure I win. What's that meant to mean? If I don't win it, you're gonna fucking, do you know what I mean? It's so silly. So for me to sit here, I think everyone already agrees that I'm the real deal in this fucking fight game. I say exactly what comes to mind and I don't hold back. And it's like that. It'd be silly of me to sit here and say, oh no, there's no other pressure or stuff like that. There's a lot of pressure, you know, when the champion's calling you out, wants to fight you and his coach. You know, you've got all these things around you. There's a lot of like dangling factors going into the fight. So yeah, it adds pressure, but I'm on a day-to-day thing now where, you know, I'm chilling now, ready for my second session, and I'm just cracking on. I really, really, really love fighting, and I love everything about it. I've got multiple businesses now. You know, I've made some smart and not so smart investments. You know, I've been smart but stupid. You know, and at the end of it all, when I sit down overnight and think about stuff, none of it matters. The only thing that really matters to me is me family and fighting. And I'd probably put fighting before my family, even though my daughters won't like me saying that. But no, I wake up every day, and the only thing that comes first in my life is making sure my daughters have got breakfast and then going to training. Everything else is really, my businesses could be going under, my house could be getting bombed, you know, my cars could be getting lit on fire. I wouldn't care as long as I'm getting them rounds in the gym and getting, getting me work done, and that's ultimately nowadays what I'm living for. I'm living for the gym and for my family.
Yeah. And when you watched Adesanya versus Blachowicz, I presume you had an eye on it, obviously, with the champ fighting it weight up. Was there anything you saw in that fight that you think you could bring to the table if you fought Adesanya?
I did see a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't like to comment as well at the same time, because I think it's crazy if you put boxing to MMA, like the weight categories. Like a jump from welterweight to middleweight it's like 7 kilo, and then from middleweight it's 693. It's like 9 kilo, massive, huge jumps. Now, when I seen Izzy saying I'm coming in light, and stuff like that, I thought, I was a bit 50-50 whether that was a good idea or bad, because even though he'd had speed, you could see in the fight he didn't have the power to hit Jan. Yeah. And Jan was walking through him and wasn't scared, outstruck him overall, which was very impressive. Yeah. So what I thought was when I moved up to middleweight, and my coach said to me, Darren, we're going to move you up, but we don't want you to be big and strong. We just want you to be bigger, but keep the same speed from welterweight. And that's what I've tried to keep. I feel like every fight and training for now at middleweight, I get faster, keep that same speed that I had at welterweight and that movement. So maybe it was good for Izzy to come in at like 205 and bulk up even more, obviously the 24 hours in between, and still have that speed from middleweight, which he's got. So maybe that was one critic I'd say, but who am I sat here? I'm not the champion, you know what I mean? But I seen dwindles of things that I could definitely capitalise on in a fight with Izzy, but he's probably seen the same from myself. Yeah. As I said to you, it's all okay, me sat here in my mum's box room, comment on it, but, that jump is different. The pressure, the cage was quite smaller. Yeah. You don't realise how big these light heavyweights are. I've stood next to Jimmy Manuwa many times, and people have said, you're nearly enough the same size as him, Till. And I'm like, I am. But if you turn around, look at like his arms, his structure, he's thick as fuck. Like, he's so thick, like strong, brawn guy. Like, one of them shots hit you, it's gonna rattle your brain. Yeah.
That's one thing haven't really seen anyone say, was the jump. Out of all the people who've tried to become champs, the jump between middleweight to light heavyweight is the biggest. The only other person to make a jump bigger than that was DC. And DC obviously is a natural heavyweight, so
yeah, of course. Like people go on about DC's like the way he looks, but he's actually one of the fittest guys in the UFC. Like, he can go for days, like for 10. He could do 10-5s easily. They train really hard. Like, we do a lot of stuff the same. When if you watch our AKA train, we train the same at Kaobon. That's why we're always fit. Cardio and gassing's never a problem in our camp. But yeah, for DC, like he is a natural heavyweight. He was actually killing himself to get to light heavyweight, even though he wasn't like showing any sign of abs. He was actually killing himself. So from welterweight to middleweight, from lightweight to featherweight, all these weights, the jump to middleweight to light heavyweight really, it makes a big impact. And I think it showed in the fight with Izzy and Jan, the way Jan just walked through him. And ultimately in the 5 rounds, he outstruck him. I had the fight 3-2 for Jan. So people said it was close. It wasn't close. One judge gave a 10-8. Don't know where that come from. Don't know what's going on in the sport of mixed martial arts with these judges now. That's an atrocity. Whatever it's called. A 10-8 is when you go out there and you absolutely destroy the other guy. You nearly get him out of there for the round, and that's the end of the round. It was a one-sided beating. There was none of that in the Izzy Jan fight, so I don't know where they cropped that 10-8 from. It baffled me.
Yeah, because both the 4th and the 5th rounds, Adesanya had about the first 2.5 minutes on the feet, and what I thought was controlling it, and then Jan took him down the last 2 minutes. So, to your point, you can't get a 10-8 off dominantly winning half the round.
Yeah, where's the 10-8? Like, now if Jan would have come out first 5 seconds, took Izzy down and just smash 5 minutes right through, there's no arguments. It's a 10-8 round. Even if he gives a 10-8 round, no one's going to complain. Gives a 10-8, same thing, no one's going to complain. You can't come out, dominate 2 minutes, then get dominated for 2.5 minutes or whatever it was, and call that a 10-8 round. That's just not the way mixed martial arts is judged, and it's not the way it is, and it's going to ruin potentially a lot of big fights in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking about big fights, both yourself and Adesanya, you're young, you're big stars in the game. Is it fair to say this fight is inevitable to happen at some point?
Fucking phone just keeps blipping.
Not
All
a
these
problem, mate.
countries. No, it's just me mates. Yeah, I think the track that we're both on. MMA is one of these sports where you can have like, sorry,
No worries,
you
mate.
see me?
Yeah.
MMA is one of these sports where you can have like 2, 3, 4, 5. I think Maslow's got double figure losses, so is Diaz, and you can still be one of the best because MMA is so different from boxing. Now, if you compare it to like these lightweights in boxing, they're all on Twitter and they're so brave and courageous on Twitter, and they're telling each other that one's denying this fight and that fight, and it's all who's got the A sides and who's got the money sides and who's getting the most money, because I'm not getting paid less, because I mean they're all just bitches. Like, I don't get it myself. Like, they're standing there taking photos with like iced out rollies and all that, and I just think to myself, I would strangle the fucking life out of a lot of you. And then you come to MMA, the number 1 fights the number 2, the number 1 fights the number 4, 5 fights 6, 6 fights 3, and so on and so forth. Then, yeah, sometimes you get these big jumps, like a Kamzat guy comes in, makes a lot of hype, but can back it up. So we will get them big fights with people. Oh, but he hasn't earned it, but he's beating everyone. You know, it's inevitable that me and Izzy at some point are going to fight, whether it be next fight after I beat Marvin or longer down the line. I mean, my dream of my life, I feel like I can sit back and just enjoy retirement, will be when I fight at Anfield and sell it out ultimately. You know, I'm going to manifest it like I manifested selling out the Echo Arena and bringing the UFC to Liverpool. You know, there's many factors involved in that. A lot of gyms in Liverpool contributed. You know, we had all the past UFC fighters, but ultimately it was down to me. The UFC came to Liverpool for one man and one man only. It was me. And they're going to come again to Anfield for one man and one man only, and that's me. And obviously all my team and all the gyms will be involved, but it will be down to me. And I'll be able to sit back then and look back on a nice body of work.
Have you got an ideal opponent you'd like to fight? Would you like to fight at Anfield as the champion? Would you like to fight as the challenger? Is there an opponent or
No, I don't know what's best. Like, you could make many arguments. What is the best? Like being the champion and defending it at Anfield, or winning it at Anfield. You know what I mean? Because you've never touched gold. So what's the best argument to that? Many people will have many different opinions about that shit. You know, for me, I don't know what would be best. I'd have to probably speak to me coach Colin to see what he thinks, what he's imagined. I've had many sleepless nights, and I've had many dreams about it. You know, just a little childhood dream, the same as I had the dream to fight at the Echo. One day, 100% before my time is done, I will fight at Anfield.
100%. But of course, we've got to turn back to the fight at hand. Would you be prepared, Darren, to give me a loose prediction for your fight on the 10th of April?
I think I'm just gonna be too elusive for Marvin. I think I'm gonna outstrike him I think I'm gonna beat him in every area. I don't think he's gonna be able to take me to the ground. I think if he does take me to the ground, I'd bounce back up like I do in all my fights straight away. You know, even in the 5th round with Whittaker, when my knee was completely torn to shreds, he took me down twice and I bounced back up. You know, obviously they count, but my defense should count in getting back up, and just don't see where he beats me. I really don't. I think he brings a hell of a lot, but at the same time doesn't bring the type of things he needs to beat me. That's just my prediction. You know, he's obviously sat there working his bollocks off, saying the same things. But we're always going to say the same things. One thing I won't do is sit here and be like, oh, he's got nothing for me. You know, I'm better here and better there. You know, that's all like crazy, unintelligent fighter talk that I don't know why people do it. You know, I'm going to sit here and analyse both aspects and come out with the result in my mind. And the result in my mind is I am the better fighter.
Yeah, of course. I've got one final question for you, Dan. Now, this is related to your good friend and who's always been your good friend, Mike Perry. What is more likely? Darren Till fights for the welterweight world title for the second time, or Darren Till fights Mike Perry at any weight?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know, man, because if I win the middleweight belt, I'd love to get a shot at the welterweight belt as well, be a double champ here. I think it's probably more likely I'm going to fight for the welterweight belt. I don't see where me and Perry meet unless we just organise a scrap in the gym or something, one of the gyms. And if I've invited him over to Kaobon and he can get some sparring, I don't know. I think I would fight for the welterweight title rather than be fighting him. He's a friend. I do like him. Yeah. Got a lot of respect for Perry.
What's more likely, you and Mike Perry fight or you and Mike Perry go for a spar together?
More like a spar, like the original thing was meant to happen when I just got totally mixed up. I mean, I think that video's got like so many million views or hits, like such a an honest moment, no fakery, like all these videos nowadays seem to just be faking videos. It's just so honest, such an honest moment.
Yeah, I think what's so good about that video is the way your face drops and you just clicks, but also his face doesn't change at all. He just stares at you. It's so funny.
Like Mike Perry, like I'm obviously I'm up for a fight on the street as well, but you know, that's not going to be my first go-to choice. I don't want to fight on the street. I want to fight in the octagon and make money. Yeah. But like when he genuinely asked me on the bus on the way to the presser, I was just like, I dismissed what he'd said because I thought, yeah, he wants to go like chill and hang out in the sun and all that. And then like he was like, I've got some gloves in my room and that. And I was thinking, oh, fucking hell, he wants to fucking have a party. And he was like, but I know you guys spar different, you know, I know you go hard. And I was like, no, I was confused, Perry. I thought you wanted to go for a spar. Yeah, we can go for like sparring if you want. I was like, I've got no gloves. You've got some. And he's like, yeah. And I'm just, when I look back at the video, his face is just expressionless, confused.com. And I'm just like thinking, oh my God, how's this gone from like having a nice sauna and a treatment to like spar? It's mad.
Where are you and Perry at now? Are you friends? Is it all a bit of a joke? What's the score?
Yeah. I don't carry no persona online. Anyone who knows me, you know, I seen I think that's why people like me. I seen the photo you posted there, and a lot of people got love for me, and I always appreciate the love. I think it's just because of the way I come across. I don't have a persona online. What you see is what you get with me, and I say what I think. And maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but it's just me. And I don't have the same with these guys. If these guys, whatever way they want to be with me in person, is okay with me. If they wanna legitimately have a fight, don't do it in front of no cameras. Come and see me and we'll have a fight. Or if they want to be friends and go for scrams, there's no problems with that. So same goes for Perry. Like, you know, I'm all about the banter, and I think he took it to heart. But you know, we've messaged a few times now, and I invited him over to train at Kaobon, and you know, whatever. At the end of the day, if he doesn't like me, that's on him. I like him, and I think he's a good guy. But I think we're sweet now. I hope we're sweet anyway. Can't be arsed fucking.
He's no fighting in the same card, isn't he? He's fighting Daniel Rodriguez.
So like the UFC PI where we go out to in Vegas. So you know the main events will have obviously a little bit more luxury to pick and choose what times he goes there. But obviously I'm gonna message him and be like, you know, want to get some work in while we're cutting weight fight week. You know, I don't have a hell of a lot of weight to cut these days, so it'd be good to bump into him and bump heads about stuff.
Yeah, superb. Well, I very much look forward to the fight next month, and I very much look forward to following the rest of your career.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the love and the support, mate.
I very much appreciate your time too, Darren. Before you go, is there anything you would like to say or sign off with at all?
Shout out Liverpool, mate. I never say that much. I don't say it much, but shout out Liverpool. I'm feeling the love.
Just because it's current, did you see Nick Pete's post earlier?
No, was it on Instagram or Twitter?
It's on Instagram. It was a picture of him doing an interview with Mike Chandler. Mike Chandler's got a picture with a t-shirt with War On it, and he says something like, "Mike, Nick, should we scrap a 4-man lightweight tournament and just have me fight for the belt?" And then Nick put back, "Yeah, mate, because you've got that boss t-shirt on. Hashtag up the Reds."
Yeah, Michael Chandler supporting the Reds. that's a weird one. But LeBron James has got obviously shares in Liverpool as well. So all these Americans are big fans of Liverpool, aren't they?
Yeah, shout out Liverpool. Yeah. Shout out Liverpool, mate. Well, great to talk today. Thanks for your time.
Perfect. See you later, mate.